In this video, we complete step 24, the count method. The count method returns the number of non-missing values per column. This is an aggregation method. There's going to be one integer returned per column. So when you call this method, the number of columns will not change, but the data frame returned will have a single row of integers. Okay, so let's get started here. This method actually requires the isNA method, and we're going to take advantage that we have just implemented isNA, and then use that as our data frame that we are going to be calculating with. So let's just go ahead and call isNA on ourselves. So on the current data frame, so this will return a data frame of all true or false values, whether or not each value is missing. And then let's just go ahead and create our new data dictionary as we usually do. So let's iterate through the columns and the NumPy arrays in df. So it's just a regular. So df is just another data frame. We simply just created a data frame from our the current data frame. And so value is a NumPy array of all true or false values. So if so it's a Boolean array. So when you sum a Boolean array, Booleans are evaluated as 0 or 1. So this would actually return the number of non-missing values. Or excuse me, the number of missing values. So since I called isNA, so this would return the number of missing values. But that's not what we want. We want the number of non-missing values. So what we can do here is get the number of rows first. So we'll get the number of rows, and we'll just simply subtract this sum, which is the number of missing values, from the total length. So that will leave us with the number of non-missing values. So let's go ahead and add this to our dictionary. So new data call, that's the string, that's the column name, and it will equal this. Now this will be a single integer, but we need to make it a NumPy array to follow to match to match how the data frame constructor works. So that's all. That should do it. So we just need to return the constructor passed with this new dictionary. So let's walk through this one more time. The first step is to call isNA, turning the entire data frame into true or false values, whether or not each value is missing or not. We then initialize our data dictionary. We get the number of rows for each of the current data frame. And then we're going to iterate through this Boolean data frame that we created in the first line. And what we're going to do is simply subtract from the total length of the rows the number of missing values. So that we're calling the sum method on value, which is an array of Booleans. So when we sum it up, we'll get the number of missing values, and we subtract the length, we'll get the number of non-missing values. So let's go ahead and see this work manually. And from before, we have a couple of rows or a couple of columns that have missing values. So we did this right here. So here's df final, df pandas. So let's go ahead and do df count. And so name has no missing values, so it has a count of 3. State has 1 missing value, so it has a count of 2. Height has 1 missing value, so it has a count of 2. And school and weight don't have any missing values, so they have a count of 3, which is just the total number of rows. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and run the test for this. So let's do test count, and we passed, which is great. So this completes step 24.